The purpose of completing the square is to take a quadratic in standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and write it in vertex form, which we know is y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. To do that, we need to know how to complete the square. If I give you y equals x squared plus 10x plus 3. This is what we call a trinomial, but it is not a perfect square trinomial because 3 would have to be a number that we could take the square root of, and then when we get that answer after we take the square root, it should be able to be doubled to give you 10. We can't even take the square root of 3, so it's not a perfect square trinomial. So we're going to complete the square so that we can make it have a perfect square trinomial. The first step is to kick out this 3. So now I have y equals x squared plus 10x plus 3. So to find the number that I add right here, I need to do a little formula. So this is what it is. You take 1/2 of b, and b is 10, and this gives me 5. Then I take that number 5 and I square it, and I get 25. 25 is the magic number that if I put here, then I should, or now it gives me a perfect square trinomial. But if I just add in 25, I change the equation. It has to equal this after I distribute and add 3 and everything. So I need to then add 25, then I'm going to subtract 25. This creates my 0 pair, because 25 and minus 25 add to give you 0. Now I have a perfect square trinomial right here. So this can now be written as a quantity squared. So what multiplies to give you 25 that adds to give you 10? The answer is 5. So now I have x plus 5, and then I combine these outside to give me that k value. I'm going to have minus 22. So essentially, if I were to expand this and then add 22, I'm going to get the standard form equation that I started with, x squared plus 10x plus 3. But now it's in vertex form. I know that my vertex is going to be -5, -22, and I can answer all the questions about the graph because it's now in standard form. I'm sorry, vertex form. All right, let's look at another example. Okay, so you first realize that you can't write this. This is not a perfect square trinomial. 4 is a perfect square, but after you take the square root of 4, you get 2, and 2 plus 2 does not give you -14. So we know that we're going to have to complete the square. My first step is to kick out the 4. So we have y equals x squared minus 14x plus a number. Here's my 4, and then I'm going to subtract that same number. Okay, so let's figure out what that number is. 1/2 times -14 gives me -7. Then I take -7 and I square it, and remember, it's going to be positive, 49. So I'm going to add in 49, and then I'm going to subtract 49. Okay, so now I'm going to factor this. This is my perfect square trinomial. So there's a number that multiplies by itself to give you 49, and then when you double it, you get -14. Now be careful because that says -14. So -7 times -7 gives me 49, and -7 plus -7 gives me -14. So I have x minus 7 squared, and then you have 4 minus 49, and that's going to give you -45. So my vertex is 7. Remember, it's positive because we do the opposite of h. 7 comma negative 45. Alright, this next one you try on your own. And then copy it down, so I have x squared plus, let's do 12x minus 3. Alright, so copy this down, complete the square, and hit pause while you work, and then unpause it, and I'll have the problem done for you. Okay, so your first step is to kick out that negative 3. Then I'm going to add a number and subtract that same number. Half of 12 is 6. Then I have to square it. Don't forget to square it. So I add in 36 and I subtract 36 because it's a zero pair and I don't want to alter my equation. I'm going to factor this and I'm going to get y equals x plus 6 squared, because 6 times 6 gives you 36 and 6 plus 6 gives you 12. And then I'm going to have minus 39 because I combined minus 3 and minus 36.